Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is EonShiKeno, and today I'm going to do a co-commentary analysis with Lowry. Hey, Lowry, what's up?
What's going on?
So we got a TVP on Lost Temple. You're against the Locust. What did you say he was, like a 2300 or something like that Protoss player?
I believe 2650 last time I checked.
Okay, and at the point of this replay, what were you rated?
2270.
All right, cool. So, what's your strategy going into this matchup and on this map?
Lost Temple, I'm aware of the ledges, so I'm going to try and abuse the natural versus any race. And then versus Protoss, I'm trying to come up with a solid opener that'll work against any kind of cheese. There's something to play a more macro-oriented game.
All right, cool. I've played against you a lot in custom games and whatnot, so I know you love that 2 barracks opening, which it looks like that's what you're going with here.
Yeah.
So is that like the stable opening you're talking about, just save 2 barracks into like open expo macro stage?
Yeah, I like a two racks opener just because it can stop any sort of proxy gateway cheese, zealots coming in or zealots coming in. I can get Marines out and deal with them. And it gives me enough units to safely expand early.
All right, right now you're scouting around in space. What are you like looking for, like something out of the ordinary? What you maybe...
Ideally, I want to see a cybernetics core, which there it goes down. I don't know if I saw it.
Yeah, you haven't seen it yet. You're actually checking for pylons in the back of his base, I think, or behind there. Or maybe you're just hiding your worker.
This I just recently started doing. I have an SCV patrolling at his natural to see when his expansion goes up. If you see, he's not going to really see my SCV unless scouts behind there, but I can see when he throws his expansion up. So I'm going to know about his food count when he throws his natural up.
All right, and you're going to base your expansion off that. Are you planning to expand before him, or are you going to plan to expand a little bit after he does?
I expand before him, and what this build I've been working on is I throw a bunker up and a turret up early. And so if I see him expanding, I shouldn't expect a 4-gate push or anything that's going to be overwhelming me.
Okay, and you're basically just going off 1 gas for the majority until you get your expo up?
Yeah, until I start getting tanks out.
And then you throw up like a 2 factory and some extra barracks?
Yeah, and I love using tanks, and so I try and... People say Marine Marauder Medevac is probably the best or top, but I love pushing with tanks and containing them. And
yeah, I've seen a couple you play that way a lot recently, and I think it's got possibilities. So what's like the food count you like to expand at? Do you have like a set food count?
35. I get supply blocks at 35 intentionally. I get my stem at 35. I throw up an expansion, a supply depot, an engineering bay, a bunker, and then a turret after that engineering bay is done. And that, I mean, so far it has worked. It's worked miracles for me. I mean, the bunker will hold off 4-gate pushes where I see right now I'm supply blocked at 35. I know he hasn't expanded, so I'm thinking I'm going to get some sort of pressure coming at me because he has not expanded yet.
Mm-hmm.
I throw up the bunker. I have an engineering bay going up here pretty soon. I should.
Yeah, there it is.
Soon. And this is my typical opening for any Protoss, because I feel like it can deter so many early games.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, you haven't seen an expansion, so you're still anticipating like a 4-gate push, because it is only like 6 minutes and 25 seconds into the game.
That, or I'm expecting DTs, which Protoss have been doing a lot to me on ladder, and I've been shutting it down with this turret.
Early turret, yeah. My friend Time Lord actually has been doing a lot of those early DT pushes, and he's had quite a bit of success with them.
It comes right around 6.5 minutes, the turret. So my turret's maybe a little bit late, but...
You've still got your scan, maybe. Yeah, so... he still hasn't exploded yet. He's doing a pretty interesting strategy. He went for early forge, he went for the 1-gate robo with some photon cannons. He's getting out an observer, and he's just like 3 or 4 units, getting a robotics bay. Do you like to use scans on like the enemy base, or do you like to save those in macro?
My second's mainly once that second is up, I believe I scan. It's what I usually like to do to see what kind of army composition they have,
Okay.
whether I need tank heavy or go immediate into Banshee harassment.
All right, there you go. You threw down a scan at his entrance. You see he's got just a handful of units. And he's actually getting out a warp prism, loading up 2 probes, and going to get a Colossus out. So looks like he's going to do some harassing more than likely. And you're just macroing pretty hard.
I scanned the cannons, and I wasn't quite sure what he's doing. So here, this is where I sent out 3 Marines to just check all sorts of hidden expansions and any kind of cheese that I should spot. Because for him not to expand 8.5 minutes into the game, I was a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this, and I'm confused about what he's doing, but I think it's starting to pull together right now. He's got 2 Stalkers up on top of your cliff. He's going to, looks like, he's going to use that Warp Prism and throw down some cannons more than likely and try and just deny this orbital. So, whenever, like, you just now scout this, you see Stalkers up there attacking your refinery now. What do you think? What are you expecting? What are you going to try to do to this?
I've never played against a Protoss that's done this, and I thought it was only Stalkers until I scan and I see all the cannons, and I'm like, Christ, I immediately get a dropship going.
Yeah, and that scan was perfect. You have more than enough units to take out these cannons, and that scan with the amount of bio you had was more than enough to shut down this little bit of a push. Do you think there's anything that you maybe could have like improved to make this a little bit more effective, like maybe putting cannons further back first, and then getting those finished, and then pushing forward a little bit more methodical?
I think if you brought a Colossus instead of the cannons, it would have been a lot more beneficial for him.
Okay, so you're thinking like maybe a little bit later drop?
Yeah, he had a Colossus coming out right after that Warp Prism, and if he waited, I think he could have done a lot more economic damage to me.
So he's invested a lot in that push to the top. Do you feel like you're in a good position now after that first?
Yeah, I know a couple of my mineral patches are going to be not mining, but I get the dropship out, and I'm able to deter that aggression by him.
Yeah, you could use that dropship for vision, and then of course that'll let you drop over the top and stop this little bit of a push. Now, right now you got the SCV back behind his base. You can see that expansion, and it's just in perfect vision. Like, of course, the expansion doesn't give almost any vision, so he can't see you, but you can see him. So that SCV back there did give you a pretty good timing about when that expansion is up. Now, once you get your second base saturated, your natural saturated, how many production buildings do you like to have?
I usually throw up about 1 more factory. I have about 4 barracks with these 2 reactors. That's good enough on barracks infantry units. And then with 1 starport, I either go Vikings or Banshees based on what if they're going Immortals, I'll go Banshees, or High Temps, I'll go Banshees.
And right now he's doing a little bit of harassing with like those 2 Colossi, and he's already racked up about 7 kills so far.
Cool.
So he has those 2 Colossus. He has that range upgrade. He's putting a lot of pressure on you. He's got 3 Colossus out now. And you said you're going to tech into Banshees with Cloak instead of getting Vikings to deal with the Colossus?
Yeah, what I find versus Protoss is Banshees get the Protoss army completely out of position, and it sets up my siege tanks just perfect. It's just a matter of getting the Protoss army out of position so I can set up and let them attack into me. Gotcha.
And right now you're just trying to push up and take out those Colossus, but he's macroing pretty well with those Colossus. I think they only lost 1. And I got that Medvac out there scouting, got to pull that back. But so right now we're basically tied base on base, but I think you've got more income than him. 1 more Harvester out and more gas going actually, so you're beating him in the economics right now. And you got that first Banshee out. You use this first Banshee to do any harassing with or scouting with, or are you just going to use it purely for defense?
I usually, if we haven't had any engagements, I usually send it into their mineral line, get their stalkers out of position, lets me get in position.